Hello and welcome to my Let's Play Star Trek Online on the PS4. I am the Big B82 and this is part 16 of my Delta Recruit 2021 Federation Engineer. We're about to undertake another mission in the Romulan Arc, the mission Mine Enemy, here in the Hfihar System. After our visitation at the Vault, where we discovered the leader of the Reman resistance group, which is Obsec, and his plans to use thalaron triggers on Romulan targets. We're essentially going to be here to investigate quite why they plan on destroying something here in the Hfihar System, but we will of course stop them. And of course get a lovely view of the Ambassador class. Such a beautiful ship. I wish they'd do more with the pre-TNG era. I'd love to see the adventures of an Ambassador class ship, particularly the USS Sukhov. But that's just me fangirling over the Ambassador class, because we only really got to see her once on an awesome ship. And that was, of course, the USS Enterprise C. Anyway, let's head for the mission before we continuously roll around the deck of the a hull of the USS
Starfleet Intelligence has decoded the
Indianapolis.
list of Romulan targets that you recovered from the vault. I need you to investigate one of these locations and determine why Obsec and his forces planned an attack there. The Hfihar System is still technically part of the Romulan Star Empire, but Ferengi speculators have moved in, and the Empress has done nothing to remove them. The Ferengi have reopened the mines and are now doing business with anyone with Latinum. You will go to the Hfihar System under the pretense of negotiating a possible trade agreement with the Federation. Talk to Madron, the operator of the mines. Convince him to allow you access. Find out all you can. Once we know why Obsec and the Remans are targeting these mines, then we will be able to decide how to proceed.
So
I have new missions for you.
Okay, let's ask you a question first. And why would Obsec and the Remans want to attack the Romulans?
I do not know. Obsec and his people have traveled a most difficult path. After so many years of oppression and Romulan treachery, it does not surprise me that they are suspicious of anyone. The Remans gained much in the years after the destruction of the Romulan homeworld, but Sela is more secure in her power now, and she may believe that she no longer needs the Remans as allies. If the Romulans seek to enslave the Remans again, there will be bloodshed.
I have new missions.
Okay, so let's begin. Mine Enemy. Shall I do my cheesy captain's log? So captain's log, Stardate 86248.82. Starfleet Intelligence has deciphered the information we gathered from the Vault. The Reman resistance is planning to use thalaron triggers they have obtained to destroy Romulan targets. Admiral T'nae has ordered the Indianapolis to the Hfihar System to investigate why it's a priority target. Okay, Captain. The Remans are targeting the magnesite mine in this area, but the list we've recovered didn't have an exact coordinates. I know we're in the right area, but all the moons in this system are inhabited and our sensors are being affected by the magnesite. We need to contact each moon to try to determine which one the Remans are actually targeting. Me know English. Okay. Systems. And auto buff our shields. We'll get some bait to take care on particles. And that's how the moon to relieve.
You've stuck your nose in our business for the last time, Starfleet. All ships, attack!
magnesite. Well, that was an interesting introduction. Well, at least you get to see the the ship fire its weapons in anger. Okay, let's go to the moon. This is the moon layout.
This moon is private property. No solicitors, beggars, or Starfleet allowed.
They're not very hospitable around here, are they? This is a dangerous area, but only gotten worse since the destruction of Romulus. It might be difficult to get someone to trust us. Yeah, it's probably true. What have we got here? Looks like well, more magnesite. I suppose being a magnesite system, there's probably going to be quite a lot of magnesite here. There's one more just around the planet, the last planet. There's of course the view of the Indianapolis. NCC 10535A. I was going to give her her original registry number, but I think was this is the 25th century, and the original in Indianapolis was launched in 2348, so it would be refitted before it would be allowed to enter service. So brought up to snuff. Oh, rubidium. So on the moon.
Hello, my good friends. I'm so happy to meet you. Perhaps you are in the market for some high-quality magnesite? We have the finest ore in the quadrant. On behalf of the miners and residents here, I'm more than happy to welcome you to our home. Please transport to the surface. Unfortunately, the large amounts of extremely pure magnesite ore in the core of our little world will interfere with your sensors. For safety reasons, I must insist that you use the transporter signal enhancers that I have installed at my own expense. Also, I know you Starfleet types are so fond of your away teams, but could you please restrict the number of crew you bring down to the surface? My people here aren't used to strangers, and you wouldn't want to disrupt their work, would you?
Okay, so that's been down. Ready to bring down on your command, Captain. Okay, and we're not allowed to take a full complement. So I'll take my head of security. Co-aids with me. And here we are on Hfihar. Now if you're a Romulan, you need to speak with that girl there. If you're a Romulan Republic, she doesn't offer anything to us, but if you're a Romulan Republic, she becomes a duty officer for you. She's refer to my Romulan, of course. Romulan playthrough to see what she's all about. Okay, so what we got here? We have Z particles. Well, the rare stuff today. Whoa. sure I can't convince them. Sorry about this. Just checking a walkthrough. I know what I'm doing, but you need quite high diplomacy to be able to do most of it here. So I don't think so. We'll have to kill her off, I'm afraid. Quadrant.
On behalf of everyone on this forsaken rock, let me be the first to welcome you to Hfihar. As you can see, we don't have time for pleasantries, and I'm not sharing my Tranya stash with you. So, why don't we skip the chit-chat and get down to business?
Of course. I've heard you have an excellent source of magnesite. What makes your mine better than the others in the sector?
Unfortunately, I cannot call this mine my own. I'm just a middleman. Out of the goodness of my heart, I help the residents here pass on the products of their hard work to commercial entities such as yourself. The minuscule transaction fee and trade tariff I keep to offset my expenses is figured into the unit cost of the ore. My operation has become one of the best in the area because of the high demand for my services from both sides. I provide the best mining equipment and supplies in the sector to the miners, while my customers get competitive pricing on the ore they need.
Do you have any more information about the mines themselves?
I don't pay much attention to that. Miners have empty carts and they return with ones filled with ore. If you're that interested, you could visit the mines themselves, but I don't recommend it. It's such a dirty, disagreeable business, and I'm convinced that breathing ore dust for too long is terrible for you. The miners who live near my quarters used to keep me up night after night with their dreadful coughing. I had to install soundproofing just to get some sleep. Are you sure you wouldn't rather look at the ore I have for sale?
Thanks, but I'd like to talk to the miners first.
Really? Suit yourself. Just remember, I have an exclusive contract to export magnesite ore from this moon. If you try to cut me out of your deals, you'll regret it.
I have a few questions before we conduct any business. I'll be back when I can. Margarine doesn't answer many questions why the Remans might be interested. This is place for a fear of scaring us away from a possible sale. Perhaps if we ask some of the locals about what's going on here, we'll be able to provide more information. Good call, Lieutenant. Now the excuse me. Now the mission, of course. It is again depending on your chosen rank, your chosen profession. So if you're a tactical officer, you'll be doing a tactical mission, which would be speaking with the bullied guy over there. We're going to be speaking with an engineer, and we're going to be trying about fixing their mining laser, which is, I guess, the surveyor. No. It's over this way. Surveyor is science, is a science officer. Bully refugee. This guy is a tactical officer. We need to speak with the drill operator, as we're an engineer.
I don't have time to talk to you right now. I need to repair this drill so I can make a living.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Not unless you know anything about laser induction coils. You don't by any chance know anything about laser induction coils, do you?
As a matter of fact, I do.
If I ask Modron for a replacement laser induction coil, he'll charge me 100 times what it's worth. He's the only one who brings supplies to this planet. I remember when we had regular contact with the homeworld and my brother there would send a package of sweets for my children in every transport. Now, I can't dwell on the past. My problem is this broken drill. I have to fix it or I won't make quota. We salvage parts from old equipment and sometimes other people here will trade components. But this requires some specific components. If you think you can help me, I'll mark your map with the locations of some people who might have what we need.
Okay, so let's head go north first. Speak with the refugee here. You're an outsider here. Why should I trust you? I could not give this spare part to someone who doesn't need it. Tell me, how do you avoid breaking your drill bits when you hit a pocket of magnesite? I don't know. Ask it nicely. You're breaking. Yeah, you can't use a dyne tip one day, I don't have it. Cool, you're a bit wrong. Perhaps we should consider an answer dealing with the mechanics and using the usage of the drill. Wrong. You have to do better. No. Correct. You obviously know your way around this equipment. I'm sorry, I thought you were just another one of Martin's lackeys. He controls every second of our lives. I can't work with him, and I can't work without him, and I can't eat without buying the food from him. So pitiful on the wages that he pays, just ends up back in his pocket. Take what part you need. Remans need to stick together. Thank you. That's the correct answer again. Can't remember what it was. Oh well. Can't be that important. Pretty sure it was speed to drill up. I have a few spare parts, and I'm sure I have what you got to get to working. Thank you. And this guy runs away from us.
I can't pay Modron right now. If I can't pay my...
Commander, the miner thinks Margarine sent us to collect his debt. We need to catch him and explain. We aren't here for Latinum, we just need a spare part for his drill. Where'd he go? There he is. Dude.
You don't hurt me. I don't have the Latinum now, but I can... Oh? Modron didn't send you here to break my kneecaps? I have a daughter in the radar system. I thought I could contact her to send me some Latinum. But Modron won't let me use the subspace array. You see, I owe him some money. And I didn't make my quota last month because I was sick and... But that's life, isn't it? All you can do is try to hang on to whatever you have left. I'll give you the part you need. Take it, and I hope it solves your problem.
Thank you. They make things difficult, don't they?
Thank you. With these parts, I can fix this drill and get back to work. I need to make my quota today or Modern will cut my pay again. I already owe him so much latinum, I don't know how I'll ever repay it. He brings in food and supplies that we need, but the prices are so high. I remember the dark days after we lost Romulus. There were no supply shipments for months. I had to listen to my children cry because they were so hungry. I might spend the rest of my life in debt, but I have a life. To answer your question, though, I don't know what makes this mine different from any other mine. The magnesite isn't any different. Maybe there are some veins with less impurities in the lower levels of the mine. I wouldn't know. There's a group of thugs who keep everyone away from those areas. And I won't risk a beating just to satisfy my curiosity. If you want to risk checking it out, that's your business.
Okay. So, appears to be a group of controlling the lower levels. Let's return to Quadrant.
In buying any magnesite, or are you just here to cause trouble? Because if it's the last, I know someplace you can start a little ruckus. There's a gang that controls the bottom levels of the mine. They won't even let me in there. Previously, I allowed them to keep their little kingdom in exchange for information. But lately, they've been more trouble than they're worth. And the intel they're feeding me is useless. Honestly, who doesn't know about the green invasion of Deferi space?
I'll take that information to heart. Okay, so let's pop out, let's take a pop down into the mines themselves. Find out why the Remans want to blow this place up. Because we have too low diplomacy, we can't talk our way around most problems down here, but if you come back here with high diplomacy, you can get through all these speak checks without much of an issue. So, forum. Okay.
What do you want?
Well, I went to this area.
This area is restricted. Only people my friends and I like may enter. And Martin, that big-eared money grabber doesn't know the first thing about what...
Okay. When diplomacy fails, when diplomacy fails, go walk in an area with a big bloody gun. Okay. examine the campsite. Captain, there's a series of pressure plates located in this area. They're low tech, but the Romulans may have had to resort to outdated security measures because of the interference from the magnesite planes in this cavern. The problem is that the magnesites making our tricores almost useless. If there's anything on this moon that the Remans would want to eliminate badly enough to use thalaron weapons, it has to be here. We're going to have to figure out how to use the pressure plates to reveal whatever the Romulans are trying to hide. I suspect that we need to activate 2 of them to open the door. Open sesame.
I give the orders here, Commander. You are out of line.
With all due respect, sir, there is a difference between protecting the Empire from her enemies and provoking...
There is much here you do not understand, Jack. The Remans need to know their place. As do you. I will not forget your insubordination, Commander. The Hfihar has no place for officers who cannot follow orders. I'll be in the command center.
Colonel, they were civilians. Their blood is on our hands.
Get used to it. There will be more. Speaking of which, why don't you clean out the brig before you become a resident there?
Right. Let's find out and read logs, shall we? Always fun. Right, true activity. I'm not Cardassian, so it's always interesting to see what they're doing on my homeworld. Observed from the holofield on Cardassia Prime. The top of council petitions to the Confederation to fund Lakara's city infrastructure projects. 47 injured in a bombing at the University of Kulat. True Way claims responsibility for the attack. The Tupper Council passes bill allowing Cardassian government to seize assets from persons convicted of terrorist activity. Chancellor Amara Marconda resigns. Starfleet sending advisors to Cardassia Prime to advise government on security issues. Chancellor Lavara introduces resolution calling for Cardassia to apply for Federation membership bill stalled in committee. Ministry of Trade extends agreements with Ferengi to market Cardassia-made transport vessels and phaser banks. Borg. Observed from captured holo recording in the Delta Quadrant. Resistance is futile. That's the Borg for you. Klingon Empire. Observed from holofield on Kronos. Chancellor Jimpok facing increasing challenges from members of the High Council of Lords House of Martok. Alliance between House of Jompok and House of Duras is weak. Situation is highly exploitable. Recommend we sneak agents on Kronos. Many members of the discommodited House of Torg have been absorbed into the House of Duras. KDF members' leadership are angered by High Council mandate to work more closely with Klingon intelligence. Fikiri forces in region massing under new leadership. Malaria Detan seen entering the House of Drax, son of Martok. Gorn pushed for representatives on High Council rejected. And the Starfleet. Reserved from captured holo feeds on Earth space stock. Captain Sulu has applied for transfer to the front lines in the Klingon conflict. Admiral Quinn under medical care for heart condition. Intercepted Starfleet medical records indicate that the condition is fully treatable and not a suitable target for exploitation. 7th Fleet entered neutral zone as part of a routine series of exercises. Franklin Drake heading to extended operations in Eta Eldri. Starfleet Command considering new tactics in conflicts with the True Way. Starfleet Intelligence concerned with rise of war profiteering by independent Ferengi and Dotarians. What's this one? Read logs from listening posts of Hephaestus activity. Observe from Holofeed on listening post of Hephaestus. Yannick is fighting with Hfihar again. Hfihar takes shuttle and leaves base for 2 days. Long-range sensors mark his progress to neutral zone. 6 miners held for questioning. Chief Medical Officer reports 2 cases of Ladarian flu. 6 encrypted message sent from Colonel Hfihar consul to unknown recipient recommend that transmissions be investigated further. And we go down here, we get another little bonus as well. Ah, screw you. Journal entry 846512. Ensign Reman is dead. Hfihar ordered him to explore the tunnels. We found an organic remains and a fully discharged destructor was nearby. It looked like he had been melted. I think we should wall off the section of the mine and not disturb the creature down here. 6 people already died, 5 were miners and therefore expendable. But Reman showed promise. I know that in time he would have been a fine officer. I've asked Colonel Hfihar to request some reinforcements. If he determined to kill people exploring this mine, let him kill recruits. Oh, nice. What a nice guy the Chief Medical Officer seems to be. Journey entry 448532. We were drilling near when we broke through a wall into the chamber that hadn't appeared on our scans. Blasted magnesite blocks everything, sensors, tricorders, and they're all useless. Chamber is large and should be suitable for expansion of the base. There are several spherical orbs in it. We have yet to determine the nature of these orbs, but Janik thinks they're pretty. She kept one of them in her quarters. I've asked for permission to study the orbs. They remind me of a Federation report I once read. I can't remember the details, but it was something about the Janus system. Steve things. Now, if you know about the Janus system, scan hole. This hole is tunnelled through solid magnesite. It's too precise to be one of the mining tunnels, and there is a slight trace of silicon residue. Curious, Captain. There are not many creatures that could do something like this. Altar. I'm going to talk to you, Haunter. Okay. No kill I. No kill I. This message is burned deep into the floor of the chamber as it scissors around the edges of the letters. You met a Haunter. No kill I. And we won't kill you. So yes, that's a reference to a TOS episode. I can't remember the episode name, but there were miners in the Janus system. Basically, they were being killed by a halter, which was effectively a guy walking around in a suit on the ground. 1960s. Alright, read logs on the Romulan Empire. Observed from the holofield on Rata 3, increased power used in Royal Palace indicates that lower levels may be in use. Senator Shemek is accepting bribes in exchange for slowing progress on trade agreements. Erosion representatives meet with Sealer. Reman representatives removed from the Senate chamber. Opposition leader T'nae assassinated. 3 reunification proponents are arrested. Agents of Sealer meet with Treeway leaders near the Badlands. And the Tau Dewa activity, which is the Romulan Republic. Observed from live intelligence in Royal Republic space. Archaeological activity indicates that recent excavation has revealed an unexpected high-value find. Attempts to capture colonists in a punitive Morehan meeting with resistance from mixed forces. Federation Starbase 234 engaging in defensive training exercises. Long-range sensors destabilised by our chameleon culture underway. Phodian activity correlated with temporal anomalies near the Azul Nebula. Cloaked assets monitoring construction of listening posts in the Jarot system. Well, we know about the tower. We know about the Azul Nebula.
I almost feel sorry for you, but I have my own neck to worry about. I'll be joining you in there soon enough. If Hfihar has his way, we all will.
Let's get some allies. And then let me do it. Okay. In northeast, northwest, southeast. And we'll release the guy from the southwest one as well. Okay, go and confront Jinrik. Hey, Commander. Like my gun?
Enough! I surrender. I value my life more than the Tal Shiar's secrets. I'll tell you anything you want to know. But first, you must tell me why you are here and what you want.
Why does the Reman Resistance want to destroy this base?
The Remans know about this base? Impossible! Only the leadership of the Tal Shiar know we're here. The Empress herself couldn't find us. I don't believe you, but it makes no difference. This is not a military installation. We listen and record here. Nothing more. There are many targets that those Reman scum would find much more tempting.
Well, if we are Romulan Republic, we can do that one. If we don't have high enough diplomacy, which we do, we would have to do enough of the allies and fighter, but we do have a high enough diplomacy, so let's definitely do diplomacy. I need more than your word that this is a base as it is as harmless as you say.
Colonel Hfihar will want my blood for this, but... Take my security code. You can use it to access the control room. You'll find everything you're looking for there.
Okay, what are you gonna do?
You have what you need. Now please!
Okay, let's go and confront Colonel Hfihar.
How did you find this place? What else do you know? No matter. You won't be revealing anything to your superiors. It's disappointing I cannot give you a proper interrogation. But I have much to do and little time. The self-destruct sequence has begun. This base will be your tomb.
Well, he really values his secrets, doesn't he? Let's get the hell out of here. Pretty sure Generic knows to get out of here as well. She's not stupid. Back to the surface. Okay, let's go and confront Margarine. Of course, the resources would have respawned as well, so let's grab those for him, I guess. Some more zip particles. Okay, let's confront Margarine.
My mind! What have you done to my mind?
There was an infestation of Hfihar spies in there. I just fumigated it.
Hfihar? I'm shocked. I had no idea. I certainly wouldn't have sent you down there if you... Hey, you didn't happen to find anything valuable down there, did you? Because if you did, remember, I have an exclusive contract.
Stop with the lies, Margarine. I know you knew who and what was down there.
And what's it to you? This is a rough area of the Quadrant, you know, and they're good neighbors. If you're not easily embarrassed. Their cameras and listening devices are everywhere. I haven't had a single problem with Orions or Herodians since they moved in. And it doesn't hurt that I acquired the odd bit of information here and there. I'm a businessman, and information is big business.
Do you know anything about why they were what they recently discovered?
Unfortunately, no. I'll admit, I was trying to find out, but their systems were locked down tight. I'm sure whatever it was had to be big news. Everyone was on edge. Janek and Hakeem were barely speaking, and I once heard Hakeem mumbling something about orders. Someone's been pulling his strings, but I don't know who. I do know that Hfihar takes security very seriously. If you manage to pull any files from their system, you can expect them to be heavily encoded. Trust me on that. I speak from experience. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go talk 100 Romulans into digging a new mine to replace the one you destroyed. My profit margin for this month is ruined.
Treat those miners well, Margarine, or I'll be back. Margarine doesn't seem to know much, Captain, or at least he's not willing to part with more information he knows about being paid. I don't think he can help us anymore. We should return to the ship and try our luck decrypting the files and covering that we recovered from the Tal Shiar. I'm sure that will be far more useful than anything Margarine has to say. Well, you get to see the bridge of my ship. Don't you feel happy about that? Okay, to my captain's quarters. Bridge. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with an ambassador's with the bridge that the ambassador had, but we got a galaxy class bridge, which is nice. As it loads.
Greetings. I'm very busy.
Sorry. Okay, good. Open file Hfihar. Activities of note in the Klingon space. Emperor Kalis has been spotted in the breeding system. Chancellor Jumpok has potential adversary in Jarot. House of Torg has been brought before the High Council of Accommodation by the Council of Martok. The Farkas 3 Batleth tournament has a new champion. Analyze style structure. No anomalies. Cross reference for Starfleet records. Inaccuracy found. House of Torg lost its seat on the High Council after evidence was revealed that the House leaders collaborated with Romulans to attack the House of Martok. House of Torg was brought before the High Council for acts of treason by the House of Martok. Open the file of hypocrisy. Analyze its structure. Files encrypted using multivariable pass keys that reference other files uploaded forever, plethora, precedence and referendum. Okay, that's a new file. Let's look at plethora. Noted activities in the United Federation of Planets. Federation Embassy established on Defra Prime. Federation Council extends aid to Cardassian Prime for agrees to continue defensive pact. Klingon Federation peace talks were talks destructive and Regads 4. Vulcan Ambassador Circuit retires on to the Ministry of PGM. Now we know that's not true. Ambassador Circuit was an Undine infiltrator after a Starfleet vessel transported him to the Ministry of PGM. Yes, that was us. It was exposed. And apply. Let's look at precedence. Showing the command at the Tal Shiar listening post of Hassis. Analyze the file. Commanding officer changed full information. I think it's done. Done. Apply. And finally, referendum. Notable actions involving the Senate. Senate votes to give Empress Seal power to override rulings of Imperial Courts. Ambassador Jarok visited and Dora. Reman and rebels attack transports in the Iota Profanus. Senate ratifies new tax on lithium. And corporation Starfleet records. Starfleet has no records of Ambassador Jarok visiting Andorra. Vulcan. Okay, and apply. Secret Reman base detected in the Hfihar System. Listening post Hfihar has detected an increase in subspace communications and ships travelling to and from the Hfihar System. Analysis of communication and ship traffic reveals the patterns of observation normally employed by Reman forces. Tal-Shiar forces then intercepted the ship from relieving the Hfihar System and captured 47 Reman civilians. Passengers and the crew were summarily executed under orders of Colonel Kiev, but the captain and the first officer were preserved for questioning. Under interrogation, the captain of the Reman vessel provided a security key that could be used to decipher the encrypted communications into the Hfihar System. The encrypted messages prove that there is a base in the area of space being used by the Reman resistance. Recommendation: Tal-Shiar ships should be sent to the Hfihar System immediately to capture this base and its inhabitants. Tal-Shiar are planning an attack of the Reman base. We need to get this information to Admiral T'nae at Starbase 39 to the area immediately. Okay. So let's leave the ship. And then let's help Admiral T'nae. Admiral T'nae really cares because she doesn't particularly like Romulans.
The Tal-Shiar records you recovered show that Hakiv and his forces have been targeting the Remans for months. Obasek and his followers have been driven from their homes, had their ships destroyed, and their loved ones killed or imprisoned. Some might say that Obasek's campaign against the Tal-Shiar is just. However, Obasek was planning on using thalaron weapons in the Hfihar System, which would have killed hundreds of innocent civilians as well as the Tal-Shiar cell there. This is the problem with revenge. Violence and fury only create more pain and suffering.
Congratulations, Commander.
What are we going to do to help the Romulan civilians like those miners?
Since the destruction of Romulus, the Federation has done all it can for the survivors and the Romulan colony worlds. Many of our aid shipments were stolen or diverted for use by the Romulan military. Others were rejected out of pride or suspicion. Nonetheless, we will not stop. It is my belief that a lasting peace with the Romulans is possible, but it will not be attained through treaties. Only by reaching out to individuals, as you did in the Hfihar System, can we sweep away decades of mistrust and hostility.
Yeah.
I have new missions for you.
Okay, and that is the end of part 16. When we return in part 17, we'll be doing the mission of Frozen, and hopefully stopping.
We know from the information
we're trying to stop the Tal-Shiar from murdering the resistance. Until then, that one fails. Purchase some more of those. Until then, I'm the Big B82. Please subscribe, comments are welcome, and I appreciate any thumbs up as well. And I will see you in part 17. Frozen. Let it go. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you. Goodbye.